If you have a compatible autofocus lens mounted on your D5000, such as this 18 to 55 millimeter zoom that came with my camera, you can choose from 3 autofocus modes plus manual focus. Let's talk about manual focus first. To use the manual focus, slide the switch on the lens to the M position, and then you can do all of the focusing yourself by turning the barrel of the lens. To give you some help, a green dot will appear in the viewfinder when the camera thinks that you've focused the lens properly. Manual focus might be needed in some rare situations when the camera can't seem to get it right, but most of the time you'll want to use autofocus with the D5000 because it works so well. Moving the switch on the lens to the A position enables the lens for autofocusing, but not necessarily the camera itself. You need to look at the shooting information display to see which focus mode is actually selected. In this case, we see that the camera is set on manual. So even though the switch on the lens is set to A, the camera isn't going to focus automatically unless we also change this setting. Press the I button, navigate to the focus mode, and press OK. Here are the 4 choices. We've just talked about manual focus, but what's the difference among the 3 autofocus modes? Let's start in the middle. AFS stands for single servo. This mode is best for landscapes, posed portraits, or any subjects that don't move at all. In single servo mode, the shutter won't release until the lens has finished focusing. AFC stands for continuous servo. A lot of people think that this mode is primarily designed for sports, but it's actually perfect for all kinds of photography, and I use it almost exclusively. In this mode, the camera will continuously refocus the lens as the subject or the camera moves, right up until the moment you press the shutter button. And that's why it makes the best choice for the focusing mode. The third mode is AFA, which stands for Auto Select. This is a hybrid of AFC and AFS. In this mode, the camera automatically switches back and forth between those 2 modes at its own discretion. I rarely use this mode because the results can be unpredictable and hard to control. So as I said, my favorite autofocus mode is continuous servo. But once I've selected it, there's still another decision to be made. I also have to tell the camera which area of the frame that I want the lens to focus on. For example, in this shot, do we want the camera to focus here, here, or just let it decide automatically what is best? The part of the frame that the camera focuses on is called the active autofocus point. There are 11 autofocus points on the D5000, and whatever is behind the active focus point is what the camera is going to focus on. The active autofocus point can be selected either automatically by the camera or manually by you. My suggestion is that you always choose it manually so the camera will focus exactly on the part of the frame that you want, and not the part of the frame that it thinks you want. Press the I button and select the autofocus area mode setting. There are 4 choices: single point, dynamic area, auto area, and 3D tracking. The last 3 options don't provide the precise control necessary for taking creative photographs, because you will be letting the camera decide on its own what to focus on. And it may be wrong as often as it's right, especially when the subject isn't dead center in the middle of the frame, or the closest object to the camera. Single point offers the most precise control, and this is the mode that I recommend you use most of the time. With this mode, the camera will focus on the part of the picture that is directly behind whichever one of the 11 autofocus points that you have chosen. You can easily change the active focus point at any time just by pressing the arrow buttons on the multi-selector to highlight a different focus point. I like the single point mode because it gives me exact control over which part of the frame I want to be in focus. I don't have to worry that the camera is going to focus on something I didn't intend. As you can see, accurate and creative focusing involves more skill than just pointing the camera and letting it do all the work. If you try to get away with that kind of casual approach, you might be disappointed with the results. I encourage you to get out and practice focusing. Experiment with the different settings and try tracking moving targets like cars, kids, and pets. The more you practice, the better you'll get.